All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another quick video. All right, y'all, back with some quick fight news. I know most of y'all already seen this, but shout out to Tay and Marcus Bell for sending me this crazy news right here. They sent it to me last night, but I wanted to sleep on it just to see if it was real or not, because I know how they usually post up some, like, sometimes, you know, people put those, like, fan arts out, and they do those little Photoshop things, especially, like, for big cards. You know, they were doing that like crazy for UFC 300. So I said, man, let me wait a minute. Let me just sit on this. But unfortunately, when I woke up, this had to be true, because even Dana White was already talking about this thing like it was this huge fight. Like I said, man, I was hoping it wasn't real, but it is. I mean, UFC 300 just got crazy with this one. I wanted more WMMA fights for this card, for real, you know, but not this bad. Not this bad. I wanted to see Holly Holm on this card, actually, you know, against Miesha Tate in a rematch, because I felt like, all right, that's good throwback energy. Let them two have it out one more time. Let's see if Holly Holm can, you know, get some redemption off that last fight. You know, let's make that fight happen. But Dana White, he had another plan. And guess who he signed? Guess who he signed on to fight Holly Holm? I mean, y'all already know Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison is going down for UFC 300, man. And my first reaction was, come on. You can't be serious, Kayla. Come on. You can't be serious. I mean, right when you got some competition in your lane right now, you want to jump over to the UFC and just pull a stunt like this. I mean, come on now. But it's crazy, though. You know, when you think about it, when all is quiet on the bantamweight and featherweight front, you knew something like this might happen. You know, whenever bantamweight was looking dry and there is no featherweight division, I could see her doing something like this, especially whenever PFL and Bellator just made a merger that brings in more competition for her. And that's the key word, competition. Soon as competition came in, she took her leave. You know, she took her leave. And Dana White, him being a money man, you know, he's going to take advantage of that. He was probably like, oh, Kayla don't want to fight Cyborg. All right, come on over here. Make me some money. You know, make me some money. That's how he saw the whole situation. So I know where he's coming from. You know, he's going to want to sell this thing and do it big. And that's how he was doing on his IG. He was trying to sell this thing as a huge event. Like, this is Holly Holm versus Ronda Rousey too. But I mean, come on, like, for real though, you know, Holly Holm, her days are pretty much past. You know, I like Holly Holm as a fighter. You know, I've been a big Holly Holm fan even when she was in boxing. But I'm going to be real and just say, you know, come on, like, to try to sell this thing is like this big event for UFC 300. It's not that. It's really not that. And with the way Kayla Harrison is moving right now, I think this is really going to bring her stock down. I mean, you're going to have some people like the Holly fan base that want to see her smoke Kayla Harrison. They're definitely going to come out. You know, that demographic of male that wants to see the blonde ladies fight and throw down. They're going to come out for it. Especially, you know, just the people coming out to see the 300th card of the UFC. They're going to be there, right? So they will tune into this one. But for me as a hardcore fan, I'm just not feeling this fight. It's just not a good fight. I mean, as a Holly fan, I would like to see Holly get the victory. You know, maybe she could pull off a Ronda Rousey thing again. But with the stage these two are in their careers, it really brings no excitement. It doesn't really bring any big stock to 300 to me. You know, like I said, there's a lot of other WMMA fights you could put up there. Shoot, they could have put Aaron and Manone on this card, you know, unless they are going to be main events for March 30th. But you could have put Rose and Andrade, the third fight, on this card. You know, that would have been solid. Anything but this fight, you know, anything but this one right here. But like I said, this is just one of those situations where you have to call it what it is. And this is a duck. And we got to call it a duck. I mean, you could say it's for money, which it is for Kayla Harrison, because that's the way her career is kind of going. It's more so going towards, you know, financial status, which is fine for her. But I don't like whenever fighters know that they're on the other side trying to get money. You know, they try to include themselves with the best fighters in the world. It don't work that way. You know, that's kind of how it was with like AJ in boxing. Like, you can't put Lennox Lewis and AJ, Anthony Joshua, in the same category. For me, that's how I see it. You know, you can't put them in the same category. You know, or you can't put a better example. You can't put Floyd Mayweather and Ryan Garcia in the same category. You know, Ryan Garcia is a money guy. He's a Instagram type of boxer and so on, right? So he can't compare himself to a Floyd Mayweather. And somebody like Kayla Harrison, you know, she can't consider herself great or, you know, better than Amanda Nunes or Chris Cyborg when you're going this route instead of fighting the best fighters that you can fight. You're fighting the biggest money fights you can fight, which is fine. If that's what you want to do that, but don't include yourself into the lanes with the great fighters, right? Like Valentina and so on. That's how I see it. That's just me. But yeah, my thoughts on the fight, like I said, I see this as just a cop out for Kayla Harrison and, her management team. They want to move her in a way where they can make as much money for her as possible without taking a lot of risk. Again, I've seen this in boxing, so hey, there shouldn't be any type of excuses for it. That's what they do. Boxing managers said it before. Boxing managers have said that whenever we have certain stars, our thing is to make them as much money as possible with them taking the least amount of risk. All right. Least amount of risk. And that's the way Kayla Harrison's career is going, right? Kayla Harrison really hasn't fought outside of the PFL except the Invicta FC fight. She's always fought strikers. She's always fought fighters that she can get straight to the ground. Even Aspen Ladd, fighters like that had experience, but they were no threat on the ground, and there were no threat strength or size-wise to her, right? Finally, when somebody did come along, it took 3 fights, and Larissa Pacheco, but, they want to avoid that now. So with her coming off of that loss and just defeating Aspen Ladd, they want to avoid a fighter like Chris Cyborg, right? So it's right there. First you're saying you want to fight Chris Cyborg, like, oh, we want to fight this girl that just signed over to this B that just signed over to PFL and Bellator. We want to make that fight. And then when Chris says, let's make that fight, because now Chris don't even want to fight Larissa Pacheco. She wants to fight Kayla Harrison too, So whenever Chris Cyborg doubles down on that type of fight, Kayla Harrison and her team, they probably said, we can't risk that, because the experience gap is too big. The skill gap is too big. We don't want to risk hurting this girl and her image right now. You know what I mean? So it's probably not like Kayla's scared like for her life, but more so fearful of her stock, right? Because she wants to make money to take care of her family, and that's what it is, right? So that's how I see it. It's one of those type of ducks. It is a duck, though. It is a duck, because why talk about this fight all this time, but the minute the fighter signs, you sign to a place that you didn't want to sign to in the past, right? So it's just 2 + 2 for us. On the outside, we just see it as 2 + 2, right? So yeah, Kayla Harrison over here with the UFC now, while the bantamweight division is dry and there is no UFC featherweight division, it all spells duck, right? Let's go over here and build this thing up, or possibly build up a featherweight division, or just try to take over a dying bantamweight division to bring in that second comer to Ronda Rousey now, right? They want to do that. So, why not sign now for it, right? So Dana's going to try to bring that type of Ronda energy again. I don't think it'll happen, though, because, number one, Holly Holm, like I said, she's already out the door herself. She's already over 40. She's been there and done that. This isn't like the best fight for Kayla to prove, though, she's the best, and second, 135. Come on, man. Like this. Look at Kayla Harrison. She said before she'd have to cut off one of her limbs to make this weight. So how is she going to make 135 consistently? So I already know right now, like, to me, I know a lot of people are thinking this is going to be a bantamweight. When it comes down to April 17th, this fight is going to be a catchweight fight, or it's going to be featherweight. All right. I know this is going to be featherweight. And I think it's going to be a featherweight fight, because Kayla Harrison squeezing down to 135, that's not going to happen. You just can't see. I just can't see it. This girl's built like a tank. She's like a half a wall. Look at her shoulders, man. Like, how's she going to make 135? She's probably walking around like 170, 180 right now, so trying to make 135 is going to kill her. And that's going to kill Dana White's second coming to Ronda Rousey, because if she's dying in there to make weight, I'm going to have to favor Holly Holm in this one. I'm going to have to favor Holly if she's going to be that bantamweight. Now, if it was like featherweight or higher, I would favor Kayla at this point, because she's bigger and stronger. But with Holly's movement and her striking, like, it's definitely going to give Holly somewhat of an advantage in this type of fight, especially if this girl comes in sickly. So, I really don't see this as like some type of blockbuster matchup. I just see it as another way out and a way for Kayla to make some money and to get away from the scarier threat in Chris Cyborg. And now with this, there could be a possibility of rebuilding 145 as well, because maybe Amanda Nunes knew something, because why all of a sudden was she amped up? So, there's been a lot of inside voices, and, they all work out in the same gym, different organizations, but they all come from the same gym. So somebody already whispered in Amanda Nunes' ear and say, Kayla's moving to the UFC, right? So, Amanda Nunes said, let me show my face at this title fight, and I'm going to start talking it up, saying I'm ready to go. I'm going to let them know that I'm about to come out of retirement, because I smell a Amanda Nunes, Kayla Harrison fight somewhere in the making, whether it be at 135 or 145. And they could be rebuilding 145 because, again, this just in, PFL is trashing their featherweight division. All right. So there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes here. Like we always think, oh, these organizations are against each other and they don't like each other. Scott Coker, Dana White has what to say about Bellator, but everybody's going to pick up somebody here. And, they all benefit off of another man's trash. Let's put it that way. If you trash in your division, hey, these guys over here, they might pick them up and see what they can do with them and see a couple of dollars in them. So Dana signing Kayla Harrison, he's probably looking at featherweight. PFL just trashing their featherweight division. They're probably going to bring those featherweights in at some point. So we might be seeing a featherweight division this summer, y'all. So don't get your hopes up, but they could be building that for Kayla. Like if Kayla doesn't do 135 and she's dying to make that, she's about to die to make that weight, they're probably going to make that featherweight division for her. So don't be surprised if this fight turns out to be a featherweight fight. But again, like I said, this is going to be Holly trying to mimic the Ronda Rousey fight. It's going to be wise for her to stay on her feet, use her angles, and try her best to be a counter striker again. But I don't know if she has that strength to do it at this point. I mean, she's improved in her wrestling, right? And, she's really worked on her clinch game, even on the cage. But I don't know if she has that physical strength for somebody this big and this strong in this type of judo. I can see her ragdolling Holly Holm at this point in her career. But, Holly's going to have to really sharpen up her boxing and mix up those combinations, not throw the same telegraph combinations in this type of fight. Step in elbows are going to be important, head kicks, and a good, just solid single jab that can knock Kayla Harrison out of her rhythm or some of the things she's going to need. Not some of those same combinations that she's thrown in the past, because I don't think she has that type of speed anymore. All right. So, yeah, that's my take on the fight. It's going to be like striker versus grappler. Like I said, I don't really want to see this thing happen, but they're going to put it on the card, and I'm going to call it, though. Like I said, it's not a fight I'm asking for, but I'm pulling for Holly in this fight. I got to go for Holly, but Kayla, this is a bad duck for her, man. This is a really bad duck, and there's nothing else you can say. I mean, the most she's going to say is, I'm going where the money is. I want to make money for you already made millions of dollars, and you keep bringing up Chris Cyborg's name. Just go ahead and do the fight. Coming up on the end of her career anyway, just go ahead and do the fight. Just make that fight happen. But didn't work out that way. She's going to swear up and down it wasn't a duck. Her team's going to swear up and down. The Kayla fans are going to swear up and down it's not a duck, but it's a duck. It really is a duck, y'all. So let me know what y'all think. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.